All right, so you want to be a coppersmith.
We're diving deep into how to make your interview answers stand out from the crowd.
We're going to help you nail those interview questions.
So this material mentions a question about what inspired you to become a coppersmith.
How do you make it less generic and more about your story?
Yeah, you don't want to just say, I like working with my hands. You got to weave in what specifically drew you to copper. Was it the history? Think ancient civilizations, using copper for tools and art.
Right, like it's more than just appreciating a copper bowl.
It's understanding the skill that went into making it.
Exactly. Let that passion for the process shine through. Maybe you're into the techniques, like annealing, where you heat and cool the copper to make it workable. It's like alchemy, right?
Totally. Now, how do you make sure your work is good enough? How do you make sure it's better than industry standards?
It feels like they want more than just, I'm a perfectionist.
Right, you have to showcase your process. Instead of just listing skills you know, talk about how you plan a project. Maybe you use specific techniques, like planishing. You use that to smooth and shape the copper with a hammer. Mention your commitment to precision, whether it's getting those solder joints perfect or achieving a specific patina.
Yeah, you're not just making a copper pipe, you're crafting a piece of art.
Exactly. And this is where RoleCatcher comes in. Their AI analyzes your experience and helps you spotlight your unique skills,
Okay, that's cool. It's like having a coppersmith assistant.
helping you prepare.
Yeah.
So let's talk about designing and fabricating complex structures.
I imagine that's where you really get to show off your skill.
Absolutely. That question is all about handling intricate projects. Have you ever had to create a complex copper pipe system, like for a really old building?
I bet that's not easy. What kind of problems do you run into?
That's a great question. You might have to do research, like on historical techniques to keep things authentic. Or you might have to work with other artisans, like stonemasons or carpenters, to make sure everything fits together.
So it's like you're making sure the copper sings in harmony with the building.
Okay, maybe that's a bit much.
But you get the idea.
Yeah, I do. Now let's talk about business, especially if you're freelance.
Right, because being good with copper doesn't mean you're good at business.
So how do you answer that question?
It's about showing them you understand both sides. Do you schedule time for work? Maybe use project management tools? Or have a system for tracking expenses?
Like, my workshop is filled with copper, but I've got a system.
Exactly. RoleCatcher can help here too. Their AI can actually write your answers for you.
Wow. So they ask about advancements in the field. Is that really important? In a field like coppersmithing.
Oh, it's vital. Imagine a coppersmith stuck in the past. With no modern tools, this question shows them that they're always learning. Do you follow other coppersmiths online? Do you go to workshops? Do you see how technology is changing the field?
It's like you're always trying to get better.
Exactly. And they love to hear that.
So how do you handle client needs?
How do you make sure they get what they want?
That's where people skills come in. You have to be a good listener. Do you create sketches for them? Do you do mock-ups? You want to make sure you're both on the same page.
So you're not just building something, you're crafting a piece that reflects their vision.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher can help you here too. Their AI can analyze your past projects and pull out good examples for your portfolio.
Oh, that's convenient. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Let's talk about safety in the workshop.
I bet they ask about that.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Think about it. Hot metal, sharp tools, maybe even an open flame. You have to show them that you're careful.
Right. It's more than just wearing safety glasses.
What else do you do?
How do you handle hot metal? Do you check your tools? Is your workspace clean? Do you have good ventilation?
It's all about respect for the craft and for safety.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, now for a tough one. What's your greatest weakness?
I hate that question.
It feels like a trap.
It's all about how you frame it. Don't just say you're a perfectionist. Pick something you actually struggle with, but you have to be working on it. For example, you could say, I can get too focused on the little details, and sometimes that means I miss deadlines. So now I'm working on my time management.
So it's like you're always learning.
Exactly.
How do you work with other people?
Like architects or other artisans.
It's all about communication. Can you listen to their ideas? Can you read technical drawings? Can you use collaboration tools?
So you're showing them you can be part of a team.
Right. And guess what? RoleCatcher can help here too. They can find examples of when you worked well with others.
Nice. Now what about essential skills?
It feels like more than just listing your skills.
It is. Are you a good problem solver? Are you detail-oriented? Do you have good spatial reasoning? That's important for this line of work.
Because you have to be able to see it in your head.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher can help you here too. They can analyze your skills and tell you which ones are most important for the job.
It's like having a cheat sheet. Okay, now they ask where you see yourself in 5 years.
It's a tough one.
It is. But it's not about seeing the future. It's about your ambition. Do you want to specialize in something? Like restoration work. Maybe you want to run a workshop. Or start your own business.
It's at your goals.
Yes, but try to connect your goals to the company.
Good point. Now, how about salary expectations?
That's always a tricky one.
It is. You need to do your research. Sites like RoleCatcher can tell you what other people are making.
Oh, that's helpful.
Right. And when you're talking salary, be sure to highlight your skills and experience. Don't be afraid to negotiate, but always be professional.
It's like you're figuring out how much the copper's worth before you even start.
Right.
Okay, so what happens after the interview?
Because you're not done yet?
You're not done. It's
Yep.
like polishing a copper piece. You did the hard work. Now you got to finish strong.
So you're saying you need to send a thank you note.
Yes, but it has to be good.
Right. Like more than just thanks for your time.
Way more. Send it within 24 hours. And mention something specific from your conversation.
Oh, so they know you were paying attention.
Exactly.
Instead of saying, I liked your company.
You could say, I liked how you use those old techniques in those modern buildings.
That's good.
It's all about standing out.
Yes.
Okay, but what if you blank on a question?
What if you freeze up?
It's okay. Don't panic. Just take a breath. You can say something like, that's a great question. Let me think about that.
It's like when you're working on something complicated and you need a minute.
Exactly. And if you really don't know the answer, just be honest. You can say, I don't know, but I'm willing to learn.
That's good.
And remember, it's a two-way street.
What do you mean?
You're interviewing them too.
Oh, right. Like I'm making sure they're good enough for me.
Exactly. Ask them questions, make sure they're a good fit.
So we talked about a lot today.
Any final thoughts?
Just be prepared. Do your research and show them your passion.
And use RoleCatcher.
Yes. They can really help you out.
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Thanks for joining us.
It was my pleasure.
And we'll see you next time.